Well, hello, everybody. It's me, Esther Bartkiw. Today, I have a completely different kind of video for you. I am going to be hosting a discussion with Tim Sandars. He is the CEO and owner-operator of Omnia Radiation Balancer. Now, this is a high-tech orb sticker that you put on your devices, your technology, and what it does is it balances out and harmonizes any man-made radiation coming off of that technology. And I have had my orb stickers for almost 2 years. I absolutely love them. And how this interview came to be is very interesting. I was actually taking a selfie and I posted it up on Instagram, and somebody messaged me and said, Esther, what's that circle? I've noticed you have this circle on your phone. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my Omnia orb sticker. And then I thought, I think you, the people who are watching this video, would be really interested in this technology, because those of you who know me know I am a researcher. And when I decided I needed to get something to help me with all of this man-made radiation, including 5G, I did my research. And I learned that not all of these stickers and devices are the same. There are some that are much more powerful and they actually work. And that's why I chose Omnia. We're going to talk about some of the reasons why with Tim. And so I reached out to Tim and I said, hey, would you like to do a discussion with me, a video for my channel? And he said, yes, of course. So that's why we are here today. So first of all, Tim, thank you for being here and welcome.
It's a pleasure. Thanks very much for inviting me and for the nice intro.
Yes. Well, before we get into the science and the technology, which is really interesting, tell us a little bit about your journey of how you discovered this technology. What made you say, wow, this is something I would really like to focus on and bring to the people?
Yeah, well, it's a long story. I'll try and compress it. But ultimately, I was in Singapore and I was hanging out with a lot of alternative healers, and they were doing lots of muscle testing and so on. And one of the healers that I was working with said, do you know what your phone is doing to your body? And I was like, no, I didn't assume that anything was happening to my body. But then, as we're going to get into, one of the big things about phone radiation and wireless radiation is we don't acknowledge it. We don't actually realize what's going on. So it's my job to sort of test the body to prove that there is a small amount of stress being delivered to your body, which your body doesn't like or doesn't resonate with. But someone did a muscle test with me, and for anyone that doesn't understand muscle testing, it's a means of inquiring as to the body's strength when you hold something that you might be allergic to or unsettled by or intolerant of, or whatever the phrase might be. Allergic is the far end of the scale. So you can do it a number of ways. The way that I did it is hold out your arm like that. You pull down on the arm. If you resist and you're super strong, then that thing is no problem for you. But if your body gives way and your arm goes down, and it's difficult to imagine this until it really happens, you realize that the electrical circuits in your body say no. You basically just, you go weak. And that's what happened when I held a phone in my hand. And I realized, well, that's something I want to correct that, right? I'd also suffered from stress before and spent a long time getting over it, because as anyone that knows, anyone who's dealt with stress knows, it can hit you very hard, and you have to work very hard to get out of it and to correct your mental thoughts and your patterns and everything else. So anything that was stressing me out, I was like red hot onto it, and I was like, I need to resolve this. I need to harmonize this in my life. And then fast forward from Singapore, and I'd come back to London, and I actually went out to South Africa. And while I was there, there was a conference held by Michael Tellinger. And one of the speakers there was a guy who was talking about free energy. And halfway through his presentation, he said, oh, and by the way, I've also got the solution to all radiation problems on the planet. And I was like, wait a minute, what did you just say? That's a really big call, all the radiation problems on the planet. And I got talking to him afterwards, and I said, what have you got? How do you harmonize 5G, all of these harmful frequencies? And he showed me a sticker, and I was like, that can't be, that can't be it. Just like most people. I mean, for those who don't know already, yeah, I mean, you just showed yours. That's what it looks like. There's a lot of incredibly clever technology in that sticker, but a lot of people have trouble making a jump into believing that, right? So that's why we do all the test results, to show that we are credible, that we check out. So I got chatting with him, and I said, how are you marketing this? This is important. Everyone needs to know this. So, everyone's got a phone. And he said, oh, I hate marketing. So I was just like, well, I'll do it then. And I set up a brand, set up a company around his science, around his solution, put my own brand name on it. This is the Omnia logo. It shows the radiation field on that side going into a nice sort of protective semicircle there, which is like, it goes from red, which is danger, to aquamarine blue, which is safety. So that's my brand around his technology. And yeah, that's what I do. I go and tell people that this is a positive change to make in their lives.
I love that story because, one of the, I guess, mantras or beliefs that I live by is that when we are connected to source, that we're always placed in the right place at the right time to meet the right people, to have incredible experiences in our life. And I love how you shared that journey. That was beautiful. So Tim, let's kind of back up and start simply. What is man-made radiation?
Yeah, good question. So man-made radiation, let's talk about electrical current, right? Because through this scientist who has the answers to everything, I also learned all the true concepts in science. Well, all of them, most of them. And one of the fundamental issue or concepts that we need to get our heads around when we're talking about radiation is the atom itself, the building block of all life, all matter, even invisible life, such as the wireless radiation field is an atomic wave field that's hitting your phone, but you just can't see it. So all life, he's done experiments to show that all life, all matter, all cells are actually a spinning torus field of light or electrical current, which means that all the cells in my body are made up of spinning electrical torus fields of light. And everything, whether it's this glass here or my body, and the difference between this glass and my body is that I have a mind to move all of my atoms around, right? But everything is obeying the same rules. And what happens with an atom is that if you imagine that the torus field, which is like a donut, for anyone who's confused about a torus field, it's like a donut. And on the inside of a donut, there is empty space, right? Well, with the holy donuts anyway. On the inside is an empty space. Now, what he's measured is that on the absolute inside of that torus field, that circle, is a still point of no electrical potential. It's a magnetic still point, and it holds the electrical current of the cell or the torus field in place, right? So there's this trade-off, this exchange between the torus field of light or electrical current. So I'm going to be talking about light and electrical current in the same breath because that's what it is. A lot of people are confused by electricity and they think, oh, well, electricity is the only electrical current. Well, we're saying that it isn't. We're saying that everything is made up of electrical currents, our bodies, this glass, everything. Because as Tesla used to say, everything is the light compressing itself into matter and then discharging it. So talking about that, that's a fundamental sort of principle on which we overlay all of our science, okay? He measured that there's a still magnetic point at the center of the atom, and the atom then spins itself around that magnetic point. And that magnetic still point gives the life to the atom, right? So that magnetic still point is the 0 point from which all life emanates, right? In lots of different forms. And then on top of that, there's a layer of consciousness, right? Which is ultimately our minds and our, our soul journeys and anything else that you might, think of in terms of the dynamic behind how we live our lives, who we hang out with, what we eat, how much we exercise, all those sort of things can have a direct impact on the balance of that electrical current or light ring. Okay, so if you eat too much and don't exercise, then that light ring in your body, in your atoms, gets out of balance. But if you really look after yourself and you repeat positive mantras and you're of service to others and so on, then that 0 point will move directly into the center, right? So that's a way of helping ourselves just through our own kind of consciousness, because all of the atoms in our body are all the cells in our body are responding to that conscious human intent, right? And intent and desire is very, very powerful. It's the human intent and desire is the most powerful force in the universe. As humans, we are the kind of the closest things to the master creator, right? So in our science, we always say that you can't have a creation without a creator, right? This glass can't just create itself out of thin air. It has to have a creator, which is the human, right? We as humans are the master creators in the shadow of the master creator, right? So we build bridges and write operas and make amazing food and cars and all sorts of other things, right? We're very sort of mentally strong beings, and that mental conscious intent and desire is the strongest desire in the universe. It's very, very powerful. And the reason I say that is because we are using conscious intent as a means by which we tame or rebalance or bring back to balance the electrical fields that are made by man, which are hitting us every day. Every day we touch this is effectively what we call imbalanced energy, which is meeting a balanced energy field, which is the body. So the body starts to resonate or vibrate in sympathy with the imbalance, right? And this is what we do as cell towers, right? We are organic cell towers of light and electrical current, like I said before. And we respond electrically to everything we encounter, right? So if, I give you a hug, that's an electrical reaction. If I walk on a beach, that's an electrical reaction. That's a positive sympathetic resonance, right? But if I stand behind a bus, then basically my immune system will tell me, close your nose and run away, because that is a negative or a dissonant vibration, right? And so what we're saying is that there is a difference between man-made radiation, which is generally electrical currents that are produced by man, either in the form of a cable here, that basically passes light and heat down that cable. That's all it is. This cable is a copper wire connected to the electricity grid. Sorry, I'm just going to pick up my cable, put it back in. This cable is basically connected to the electrical grid, but the electrical grid, all it's doing is passing heat and light down this cord, down this copper cord, right? So like we said before, to the idea that all electrical current is just electricity is not right. Everything is spinning as a life form. A blade of grass, a rock, the water in the sea, everything is spinning with this electrical current. So that's the foundation from which we talk about radiation. I'll just give one other thing that is kind of important to this debate, which is that there is a big radiation field emitted by something that the creator created, namely the sun. And that's very different to the wireless radiation field that you get from man-made wireless radiation, because every time we create something, our conscious intent is imprinted within that creation. Okay, and it's the same with the creator. If the creator creates the sun, which is the giver of all life, nothing would be alive without the sun. Okay, it does burn my skin, for example, if I stand out in it too long because it's hot. but it's also the giver of all life, vitamin D, whatever you call it. No plants would be alive without it. We wouldn't eat without it. And you can go on and on and on. The sun is the giver of all life. And that is balanced radiation, which means that effectively the 0 point in the sun's radiation field is dialed absolutely into the geometric center. But when we make radiation fields, that 0 point moves around. It never settles in the middle, right? And so if you've got an electrical, a magnetoelectric field or an electromagnetic field, whichever way you want to call it, if you've got a field like this, which is the radiation field from your phones, moving around like this, then the cells in your body are going to pick up that resonance, that vibration, and start to do that as well. So it's a very subtle level of stress that is incurred within the body every time you hold this, because this is an electrical field or an electrical energy field, and so is this. So if this is not compatible with this, then we start to vibrate in sympathy with it. And one really nice kind of image to hold in your head that explains that is, if you get two guitars, right, and you put them right next to each other, and you pluck just one string on one of the guitars. Yeah, let's say it's the A string. You pluck that string, then on the other guitar, guess what happens? Only the A string on that guitar starts to resonate in sympathy, right? Starts to vibrate, okay? Only that one, because it's in the same frequency range, right? Mm-hmm. So if these electrical fields that are coming from our phone are in the same electrical frequency range as our bodies, which they are, then our bodies start to vibrate in sympathy and pick up the imbalanced electrical field of the wireless radiation. So that's a really long explanation, but I hope that makes sense. The sun is balanced and it gives all life. An electrical field made by man is not balanced, and that's largely, not completely because, but largely because the consciousness of the electricity grid is the consciousness of greed and oppression. Why do we go to work? To pay the bills. Repeat, repeat, repeat. You take it off the electricity grid, it's gone. You come back and pay again. Who are you paying? Well, there's a curtain somewhere with some bad guys behind it. Put it that way.
That was a beautiful explanation. Thank you so much. My core audience with the work I do, we're familiar with these terms: torus field, 0 point, vibration, frequency. Our beliefs create our reality. That's the foundation of the work I do. But I know that there's people other than my core audience that is listening to this video. So it was a great explanation. And, both you and I have showed our phones as an example of man-made radiation, but it's also my laptop, right? It's our Wi-Fi routers. It's the TV that's right here behind me. What other examples?
Smart meter is a big one that emits a lot of imbalanced energy. Lots of people are, send me emails and say, listen, that my neighbor's smart meter is right next to my bedroom. What can I do about it? So smart meter is a big one. Electric vehicles are a massive one. If you get your radiation measurement tool, if you measure the radiation in an electric car, it's off the charts. It's crazy. And especially as you go down, a very busy street, say in London, you've got all of this static around you, which attracts itself to the electric car. So you're getting into this, cage of imbalanced energy in an electric car. Everything from laptops. I mean, you mentioned Wi-Fi routers, anything, the three levels of risk that
microwave?
You have. Microwave oven as well. Yeah. The thing is, think about it in terms of risk, because we don't stand there with our hand on the microwave oven. We sometimes stand by it, but there is this thing called the law of diminishing returns or something like that, which effectively means that I think it's called the inverse square law, in fact, which is that radiation diminishes in its strength over distance, right? So even if you're 1 or 2 feet away from the microwave oven, the impact of that microwave radiation on your body has become very, very small. And it's the same to some extent with phones and so on, but we're touching and typing on these devices. So it's going straight to our fingertips and our ears and in our pockets and so on. And the 3 golden rules about radiation is that it's all about the level of risk is governed by proximity. Well, you know, we're holding these things right next to our body, touching them, typing them, blah, blah, blah. So proximity is a big risk. The strength of the signal, well, we're going from 3G to 4G to 5G, and then some people say 6 and 7G. And you know, who knows what's that's going to do to the body, but I can imagine there'll be a lot of people getting sleep problems, stress problems, energy problems, and indigestion. So the strength of the signal is another big one. And then the exposure time is the other big one, right? And we're maxing out on all of those every day. You know, my screen time per day is not good. It's probably 6 or 7 hours. You know, the field strength's going stronger and stronger, and I can't get away from touching my phone. So what we want to do is transform the energy around the phone into something that is resonant and coherent with the human body.
Now, before I ask you about that and get more specific, I'm really glad that you brought the sun into the conversation, because I teach the story of light for free on my Telegram channel, helping people to understand the importance of sunrise, sunset, sunshine, plugging into the sun. And I'm just so happy when you started talking about it. I'm like, yes,
Right.
The sun, it's so beautiful. So, all right, so you have these orb stickers. What exactly is the technology in here that helps to balance everything out?
Yeah, so this is a brand new technology, which has been in our atmosphere only since 2007. And it was kind of discovered by the scientist that I met in South Africa, whose name is Ilya Lakisevich. And he channeled, or discovered, shall I say, that there was this new unit of energy coming into our atmosphere. And it was kind of like a conscious gift for us to work with if we were evolved enough to understand it, or at least ask the questions as to what we can do with it. And this new unit of energy, it basically looks like a dodecahedron. And a dodecahedron is a 12-sided kind of cuboid type structure. It houses all of the other platonic solids. So it's a very, very powerful structure. But this dodecahedron has 12 sides, and on each of the 12 sides, there's a cone of light spinning back towards the center, right? So if you imagine there's 6 pairs opposing each other, right, where the light is passed across each pair, and that is the center point right in the middle. So you got 6 pairs, you know, going across this structure of a dodecahedron, and he calls it Daca energy. So that's what I call it too, because it's his invention after all. And here's the thing about Daca energy, is that not only is it always in balance, as in the 0 point is always held at the absolute center of that field, because all of the cones of light keep it there, right? So all the cones, spirals of light going into the center, maintain that 0 point right in the middle, which means that it can only perform actions of love. Because I think I mentioned earlier on that effectively when you get that 0 point dialed into the absolute center of the field, you, in physics terms, that is love. And then it's only our conscious human intent that can move that 0 point away from the field if we start thinking thoughts of anger, greed, envy, hatred, you know, all these sort of things. So that is our interaction consciously with the, you know, the 0 point inside all of our cells, or everywhere in the universe. We're always, as a cell tower, broadcasting out our conscious intent electrically, right? So I've lost my train of thought there. Now, what was I saying?
You were talking about the Daca energy. So my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the expert, that having this on my phone, when my body starts to kind of get chaotic to match the man-made radiation here, this sticker actually with the Daca energy, does it move the device or does it move me into balance? Or
That's
both?
a really good question. And just before I answer that, I remembered what I was trying to get to, which is that the beauty of Daca energy is that it can be programmed by our conscious human intent. And remember, I said earlier on that conscious human intent is a very powerful force in this universe. You know, it can build the bridges, you know, write operas and so on. Well, when we direct our conscious human intent to work with the Daca energy, we can actually program it to perform functions, but only functions that are in the vibration of love, right? So if you have a situation where, you know, some nasty people behind a curtain somewhere are beaming down on us a ton load of imbalanced energy fields through 4G, 5G, and they're acting completely carelessly and recklessly by doing that, and they're not doing any safety testing that ensures that we are not under attack, right? We can ask the Daca energy to come in and say, every radiation field that you meet, return the 0 point to the center and make that energy field coherent with the human body. And that instruction is effectively what is contained within this sticker. Now, the genius of the inventor is that he's managed to capture that Daca energy, program it, and get it into a very, very simple sticker. And then, you know, for those who don't believe me, I'm sure that you probably do, but for those who want reassurance, we do all the tests on the human body, which I'm sure we'll come to in a little bit, to explain how we've proven that it's effective. So that is the Daca energy, and then there's two products that we offer, right? The first one is the sticker that we've shown a lot, and the second one is a pendant, and I've got one here. Just gonna have to sort of try and play with the light a little bit. We've actually got a Torus field pattern on this pendant, which is here. So you can see the Torus field there. It's like, and this is one of our pendants. So you put this around your neck, and that will, you know, any field, any ambient field that you walk through, let's say you're in an airport or something like that, and your phone's switched off, then you don't have the protection that you would normally have. So you put that around your neck, and any field that you walk through, you'll have that level of protection. And then we have stickers that go on every device that meet the energy that comes into that device and transform it, change the state so that the 0 point is dialed into the absolute center, and we have a vibrational match between the human body and the energy in the phone or any wireless device. So those are the two products that we sell, and we advise people to do both. I do both, obviously. I've got my pendant on here, just to double down, because, you know, we are kind of under attack here, and we need to take measures to make sure that we rebalance our energy field.
You know, for me, it was, I started off this discussion saying, you know, I did my research and I chose Omnia orb sticker, and it was the Daca energy. I was sold as soon as I heard about it, but then also about the love vibration and manifestation, because again, that's what I do. That's my focus, right? Getting everybody into the love vibration. We're going to talk a little bit more about that at the end, because I know my audience is going, let's talk more about that. We will right at the end. But first, I want people to really understand how great these stickers are. So do you have examples you can give us of customer experiences, testimonials of before and after when they started using the stickers?
Yeah, I mean, probably the best testimonial that I received, I mean, loads of customers write in and say, oh my God, you know, I had tingling in my ear all the time and tinnitus and things like that, and they just cleared up. Another friend of mine called Tyler, you know, he used to basically phone people up and get these sort of shooting pains all the way down his arm, and he said that they disappeared as well. Everyone is different, and we can't make promises based on testimonials, but we do get an awful lot of people saying that they're sleeping better, saying that the energy is coming back, their mental focus is good, just little things, and also that they notice that the phone doesn't go so hot right? Which is, you know, a significant thing, because it's sort
Right.
of, you know, the energy is now like in harmony with us rather than acting against us and getting hot and
Right.
agitated. It's like the difference between an agitated wave field that's
Mhm.
like that, yeah, or a smooth wave field, right? That is in balance. But probably the best testimonial that I've had recently is from a lady called Jessie, and she specializes in seeing EMF sensitive patients, right? And so she's gone through all of the products on the market to try and find things that help her patients. And she came back saying, thank you for producing this, because, you know, it's the only thing I've found that really does work. And I'm going to do a video with her soon, you know, which will come out on my channel, showing all of the results that she's got with her patients. Obviously, she's not going to list her patients' names or anything like that, but we can go through the detail. So that was really nice, and it was great to meet her, and it just makes my day, really. You know, every time we help someone and they give positive feedback, that's great. That's why that makes me happy.
Makes me happy too. But listen, I know your company does a lot of testing to,
Right.
you know, to get proofs that this is actually working. Because you know, how do I know it's working? And you do a lot of testing. So tell us about that.
Yeah, we've got 5 core tests, and you know, we basically, the way we test is on the human body, right? Because there's nothing in science that can read a vibrating invisible wave field of wireless radiation and measure that it's imbalanced. You just can't do that. So what we do is we use the body as a conduit, right? To say, is the body balanced? Well, in the baseline, when you're not touching anything, you know, and you're not, you know, knocked off balance, then your body will be nice and strong, right? Let's take, for example, one of the tests that we do, which is the muscle test, right? So what we do is we test the muscle strength without anything in your hand. Muscle's super strong, right? Put the phone in your hand without an Omnia patch on, right? And watch your muscle. You know, 999 times out of 1,000, people just go weak straight away, right? So that is because of the electrical compromise between this and this, right? But then you put our patch on, and then the body goes super strong, back to its baseline strength, right? So that's what we want, right? When we're touching our phones, we want strong bodies. So that's how we test. We test the best baseline to see the performance of your body. Then we test, you know, the impact of non-balanced or imbalanced radiation fields, and then the impact of imbalanced radiation fields brought back to balance by the Omnia radiation balancer or the Daca energy, right? So that's what we do. And we do applied kinesiology, muscle testing, which I've just mentioned before. We do live blood analysis. So your blood is also shaped like a torus field. You can see this on the video that I've put up on my site. After watching 20 minutes of video on a phone without protection, all the blood starts to clump together and form chains, which is called Rouleau syndrome. And Rouleau syndrome is not like a disease in itself, but it's a sign of stress. It's a sign of imbalance in the body, and it's a precursor to, you know, illness. Because if your blood isn't in its own shape, where the oxygen's getting to each blood cell, then you have the precursor of a breakdown of some kind of breakdown. Basically, it's not the blood's not getting through the capillaries properly, and the oxygen isn't getting in there, and so on. So that is an undesirable immune response in your blood. And then when we put the patch onto the phone, watched another 20 minutes of video, and it all went separated out and looked really nice, and you know, the torus fields of light that are your cells, you could identify that very clearly, that it changed the complex of the blood cells. So that video is available online. We've done HRV testing, heart rate variability. So we noticed that effectively with heart rate variability, what you're looking for is a nice interval, changeable interval between heartbeats, between heart rhythms. So if your heart beats something like this, if it goes boom, 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 bump, bump, something like that. The heart is regulating itself in real time to everything that it's exposed to. But what we noticed for the majority of people is when they pick up a phone, their heart starts to go like this: boom, 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 boom. Equal intervals, higher frequency, and that denotes that you are under stress, right? So if you imagine that happens every time you pick up a phone, and you're picking up a phone for 7 hours a day or something, that's the extent of the problem that we're trying to identify, or get people to acknowledge. So when we put the Omnia radiation balancer on, the heart rate went back to better adaptability, and that's all shown in our heart rate variability results. So yeah, it's good for the heart. And the other test that we did was on water, to see if it would gain any structure. And this is all from Dr. Emoto's technique called water crystal photography. And what happens is you take a phone, you fill a glass of water right up to the top. So you irradiate the water, right? So you pass the radiation field from the phone into the water, then you send the water off to be frozen and photographed in Dr. Emoto's technique. And no surprises, when you don't have the sticker on and you radiate some water with a 5G field, then you take the pictures of it, the water molecule is completely destroyed. There's no structure there. There's no hexagonal crystalline formation at all in the water. But when you put our Omnia radiation balancer on and you irradiate the water, the balanced energy is picked up by the water. You then freeze that, take photos, and these crystals emerge, right, in the water, which means that the water is in good vibration. And that's good news for our bodies, because our bodies are made up of 72% water or more. So our blood is 90% or more. So that's good news for us. And then the last test that we do is kind of just a bit of a fun one, I guess, if you can call it fun. But effectively, there are things that you can do with your range of movement, right? So your range of movement, you might sort of say, right, how far can I get my arm behind my ear, like this, keeping my arm straight? And you'll go like this. And then you put a phone in your hand. And then a lot of people can't even get past there, right? Wow. They've been electrically compromised and their flexibility has now just limited. So we just test that. I can't give you 100% results on that, because some people, it hasn't changed their flexibility, but a lot of people it does. So it just goes to show that everyone's different. Everyone responds in different ways, more obvious ways, less obvious ways. But I'm here to tell you that as an electrical being, we are all, or as electrical beings, we are all susceptible to, this imbalanced energy. So those are the ways that I show, the bad side and then the good side when you've used Omnia products.
Well, I appreciate the extensiveness of your testing and making the results well known to everybody, and being honest, like when you said, not everybody gains extra flexibility, but it's really great that you're testing. And for everybody listening, tip from Esther: when you get your Omnia stickers, do muscle testing before you put the sticker on your phone, right? Yeah. Test your body strength with your phone or wherever you are, whatever you're testing. And then when you put it on your phone, test it again, because it's quite profound. It was quite profound with me. So that's just a little tip I want to give everybody.
Yeah, now, the more tuned in you are, the more you're going to realize it. So you would be one of the more tuned in people for sure. I always say to people, look, there are things going on in your body that you have no idea about, right? You don't know how your fingernails are growing. You don't know how your stomach's digesting its food. You could go on and on and on. It's just something that's happening. And this reinforces our, view, which is that we are not our bodies. Our bodies are given to us just by the creator, right? Obviously, through our mum and dad, but, humanity is the creation of the creator. We are souls coming into this body, having an experience according to our soul journey, or according to what our soul still needs to learn, right? So you know, the idea that we notice every single thing in our bodies, well, that isn't true. So some people notice it when they make this change in their life, and others don't. But like you said earlier, you can always do a muscle test to see whether the body is genuinely, the operating system of the body is feeling an improvement. So we would be happy for anyone to buy our product, remove the stickers without peeling them off, put them next to the phone, do a muscle test. If you get a yes, keep the stickers. If you didn't and you don't trust it, you can return them for a refund. But like I said, muscle testing isn't the only thing that we do. We do lots of different things to triangulate the results and make sure that there's credibility across a range of results.
Right. And, you know, just before we go on, you made a really good point. If somebody's watching this and saying, I don't really understand the Daca energy, I don't understand the man-made radiation, but they know, intuitively, they know that having this device close to their head is not good. They're getting headaches. You don't have to understand all of this. I love the science and the technology. That's why I'm asking these questions, but you don't have to understand the science and the technology to get the benefits. Now, I do have a number of questions for you. Like, these are basic questions, because I know at this point people are saying, I want to order this. I have some basic ordering questions. So let's, before we get into the final piece, we'll just do some like rapid Q&A back and forth.
Yep.
So who is this orb sticker for? Is it for adults only? Can children use it? Who is it for?
It's for everyone. The children are the most susceptible, right? So children are still growing. They have thinner skulls, you know, if they were ever to put a phone next to their head, for example, and they have a higher water content in their bodies because their bones are still growing, right? So the water is what conducts the, you know, the imbalance of the electrical fields. So we would say that it's especially important for kids to be growing up in an environment in the house where all of the energy is balanced, right? So I know most kids don't, well, I mean, kids these days, I don't know what age they start using mobile phones, but it's quite young, isn't it? You know, and they need to have that energy balanced for sure. But then so does grandma and grandpa, you know, because they're getting old and their immune systems are getting weaker, and they're getting hit by this electrical imbalance. So, you know, like, everyone needs it. It's just a question, I find, of who realizes that they need it. And that is a lot to do with your awareness, your consciousness, you know, because there are many people I speak to who just dismiss what I'm saying straight out and don't even think about it. Now, I would describe them as slightly sort of like unaware or lower consciousness or whatever. No, that sounds a bit dismissive, but ultimately, you know, I'm telling them something that can help them, and they're just basically rejecting it. I even have people in my own family who do that, you know, who don't believe what I'm saying and so on. It's fair enough. You just got to let them go. But so what I find generally is that it's normally mothers or fathers or slightly older people who remember a time without these mobile devices, and they know intuitively that they were in better balance back then, right? And so what I find is my buyers tend to be 40 years or above, and people who spent most of their time, most of their life, only picked up a mobile phone in their 20s, and know that they were in better health before they picked up their mobile phone than they are now. So they tend to buy for the family.
Okay, good. And you're speaking my speak. And
Right.
that's why we're doing this interview today, to create awareness to maybe new people that are in my community and create more awareness. So the orb sticker is for everybody, absolutely everybody. And we've been talking about cell phone and the laptop, but what other devices can you put this on?
Yeah, we talked a bit about that, didn't we? Like smart meters, electric cars are a big one. Even your baby monitor, you know, that's operating by Wi-Fi these days. You know, we're about to enter into the Internet of Things, right? Where your toaster talks to your fridge, talks to your front doorbell, and whatever else it is, and it's totally unnecessary. It's literally just a ploy to get us hooked up to some electrical grid, and then effectively become some dumb and androgynous, inorganic being ourselves if they have their way. But I don't think they're going to have that way, because lots more people are waking up right now, and that's only a good thing. So anything that's radiating is the answer to that. But I think we've pointed out the main ones, right? The main ones are the Wi-Fi router, the smart meter, the electrical car, the phone, the tablet, the laptop, the computer that you're on. Those are the big ones.
Microwave.
And the microwave.
Some people still have microwaves. So
yeah, if you have a microwave, you can put one in there as well.
Now, I was reading on your site to put it on the inside of the microwave. Did I read that correctly?
I think so, yeah, because that's where all of the imbalanced energy is, right? You want it on the inside so that it's close to there. We need to get the field close to, we need to get the electrical field of the sticker close to the electrical field of the radiation, right?
Right.
And it's a similar thing with the pendant. We need to get the pendant, close to the heart, because when it's near the heart, it's near the biggest electrical pump in the body, right? And then that proximity there will adjust your energy field to keep it nice and strong and balanced.
Right. So if people are wondering, yes, I'm going to be getting a pendant. Actually, I reached out to your customer service and said, I really want one, but it was still in the process, and I didn't know where I was going to be because I live this nomad life. I didn't know where to put my send address. So as soon as I land somewhere for 4 weeks or longer, I'm ordering one of those pendants for myself.
Great. Yeah, we'd love to. Yeah. I think you'll notice the difference as well.
I love it. So you get, if I remember, because I bought a 3-pack, and I only got a 3-pack because I live this nomad lifestyle. I don't have a lot of devices. It really is, you just unpeel it and stick it on. That's it. It's that simple to apply, correct?
Yeah, but then you're better off to protect it as well. So, I have a phone case normally that I put my phone in, which means that doesn't get, rubbed and scratched and everything else. So it is a sticker. It is made of, paper, dye and glue, with the Daca energy imprinted inside it. So you just got to look after it. That's easy on a Wi-Fi router because there's never any wear and tear, but these things come in and out of pockets and bags and all sorts of stuff. So you're better off putting it in a case. Okay,
great. I was going to ask you that question. And then how long does this sticker last?
Well, this is the good news. Not for me, because I'd love to be making some repeat sales and so on, but it lasts forever. It never runs out. The Daca energy in the patch is always vibrating, spinning, bringing everything back to centeredness. So as long as you don't lose your phone, and you look after the sticker, then the benefits, you'll be feeling benefits forever.
That was another major selling point for me, that I just, until I have to change my phone, it's there.
It's set and forget, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Do I have to put it on a device, or can I stick it on my clothes, my purse, my wallet, or does it have to be on something like this?
Well, sticking things on your purse is not so desirable. I mean, the reason why I bought the pendant out is so that it can always be near your heart, whereas if your purse is, I don't know, somewhere else in the room, then it's not having any impact whatsoever. So, we just say that there's 2 focuses that you need to be concerned about. One is the body and the other one is the device, right? So you get a patch as close to the body as you can. That's the one thing. And then you patch up all of your radiating devices. That's the second thing. Then you're done. It could be that we bring out a watch or something like that, but it will be along the same principle. It'll be like, the Daca always has to be close to the wrist, right? The energy in that has to be close to the body. And there's might be some plans for some earrings. In fact, someone came up with a really good idea, which is basically glasses, because what we know from there is one other test that we've done, but we had to we had to take down the results from our website at the request of the people who invented the test. And it's called autonomic response testing. It's another form of advanced muscle testing where you test the strength between all fingers, right? So there's O rings, rings of the O, and you basically see what happens to that O ring when you try and pull them apart. So you put your phone on your belly and then you know, or in your hand, and then you see how weakly your fingers just fall apart when you try and put them under pressure. And of course, when we put ours on, the O-rings go super strong, which is a good thing. It's another type of muscle testing. But when they put it next to, then put the sticker next to the ear, they found that through the O-ring testing, the body went into deep healing mode. Now, I didn't know this until we tried it. And then it was like, wow, you know, that's a real positive endorsement. So I did a video about that. I put that up on our website, and then the inventor of autonomic response testing got in touch with me and very angrily told me to take that video down. We don't have his permission to put it up, even though I asked them. I asked her, the practitioner that I took the video with. She said yes. And then I sent them an email and said, can we speak? And they didn't arrive on our call for, well, 2 times we organized a call and they didn't show up. So anyway, the point is I can tell you about the results, but I can't put them up on my website, which is a shame. But it just shows that when the patch is near all the electrical currents in the head, and remember, all of our brain waves are electrical fields, invisible electrical fields, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, whatever else. When the energy is near there, then the body goes into this sort of deep healing mode, as measured by ART. Well, so we might bring some glasses out, you know.
Yes.
Some,
I would love that.
Patches on the glasses somehow. Yeah.
I would love that. All right. So unless something has changed, when we go to your website, and what is the website?
It's omniaradiationbalancer.com.
And I'll put links and information below in the show notes, so it'll be easy accessible to everybody. You sell the stickers in multiples, right? Like I bought a 3, but then what are the multiples that you can purchase?
3, 6, and 12. We just keep it very simple. The 3 is for one person. Normally people have got a laptop, a Wi-Fi router and a phone. So we just sell them a 3-pack. If you've got double those devices, you get a 6-pack. And if you've got family, you get a 12-pack. And some people buy 3 lots of 12 packs, you know, they've got so many things around the house, but up to you how many you want to buy, and the more you buy, the cheaper it is. So
yeah, and you know what, if I say go for the 12-pack, because then when you're having coffee with your friend, you just put a sticker on their phone and you're giving them a beautiful gift of love and health and well-being and everything at the same time.
And it lasts forever. So yeah, you're really helping people out there. Yeah.
You're in the UK, but you ship worldwide, correct?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we do. There's some countries that are harder than others. Like, for example, South Africa has only just introduced a huge customs tax, which every time we send to South Africa, the customer gets charged something like £70. Wow. It's just filthy. What's going on at the moment in international e-commerce is just filthy. There's a lot of really quite nasty taxes going on, unjustified, disproportionate. So there are some countries that are a problem, but most countries are absolutely fine. Your Australia's, your Canada's, your USA, anywhere in Europe is good. Switzerland can be a bit of a pain. It's just individual countries have different import and export and customs controls, and sometimes we fall foul of those, other times we don't. I probably say that there's about 5 countries that are really not good for us to send to, like Iceland, Ukraine, for obvious reasons, and South Africa, like I mentioned earlier on. But apart from that, worldwide.
Yeah, and people living in those countries, you could just ship it to a friend or a family member that lives in another country and bring it in another way. There's always a solution.
Yep.
And if I recall
Just talk
from
to
your,
us. Talk
there's
to us
a
and we'll work
drop
something out.
down. I'm sorry.
I said just talk to us and we'll work something out. You know, like
Perfect.
if you can't see your country on our website, then just send us an email and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, perfect. I love that. And there's a little currency, so drop down box, so you can adjust it to the currency that you're accustomed to. I was in Europe when I got my package. It didn't take long at all, maybe days, and I got it. So it was really
really fast, wasn't it? I remember you said, "Oh,
yes,
it's here
yes.
already," and I went, "Really?"
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's great.
it was fast.
Mm.
And you know what? I want to tell everybody, kind of like an announcement, Tim has generously given you, me, my audience, a 10% discount on your product purchase. The code that you use is my name, Esther, ESTH, don't forget the H, ER. That'll give you 10% off. And it's actually a big deal because you don't go on special. You don't do Black Friday sales. You don't do anything like that. So
No.
Thank you so much for giving all of us that discount. That's really great.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, thank you for your interest and, you know, for spreading the word through your audience. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I just love it. So listen, before we wrap this up, because it's been a very interesting conversation, I don't want to overwhelm people with too much information. If they've got lots of questions, we'll invite you back and we'll do another Q&A.
No
But I
problem.
want to come back to this love vibration, intention, consciousness, because that is my work. And most of the people watching this, they love that type of discussion. And as I said, this was one of the main selling points for me. What I'm hearing you say, and again, correct me if I have this incorrect, is that the technology, the Daca energy in the sticker balances out that chaotic energy from the man-made radiation, and it takes it into the balance of the 0 point, which is the love vibration, love and above. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, I mean, let's just do my little silly sort of hand squiggles again, right? Let's imagine that in a radiation field, there's the 0 point and there's the electrical current spinning around it, right? What happens is the 0 point is moving around, which drags the light ring with it, right? So it's never sitting in the center. And our bodies pick up that imbalanced radiation. So what we do is we get the sticker and we put it next to that radiation, and then it just goes chum. The instruction in the sticker says, put the 0 point to the absolute center of that field and change the energy into the vibrational balance of love. And once that happens, then the body responds super well in our tests, as you can see. So that's what we do.
So would it be right for me to deduce that this sticker, along with helping us with all this technology and radiation, including the 5G, it's helping us to return to our true essence as soul, which is love and light? Is that a stretch, or?
I would say so. I would say so. Obviously, you know, we have a big role to play in that ourselves,
Yes.
you know, by healing and effectively, you know, releasing all traumas and, you know, things that are holding us back. There's another thing, there's another element, which is that the Daca energy is conscious energy, right? It's listening to our consciousness, our conscious human intent. So we can actually start working with it, you know, and I believe that I'm working with it kind of subliminally by, you know, through my company, through my intentions, through, you know, hopefully you've learned a lot about who I am, not just what I'm saying, but who I am as part of this talk. You know, that energy comes through in the Daca energy. So when I'm delivering it to everyone, my intention is to make it as accessible as possible to everyone, right? You know, here's a sticker for, you know, if you buy a 12 pack, it's £12 each. That's about $15 US, $15 US each to make your body go strong forever. When you have a sticker on your phone, that I'm trying to make it accessible to everyone so that they can gain benefit. So this is how we share. This is how we help other people. The Daca energy is there listening to us and amplifying that conscious human intent, that vibration of love, that whatever. And you can actually start working with it too. You can put it on your phone, and then you can basically just start, asking it to help you if you wish, or to amplify something, or to help someone else, right? So you can use it as a kind of like this responsive conscious field in a sticker. And I'd be really keen to find out how people get on with that, because but it takes a deep trust. You have to not doubt yourself in any way. You have to deeply trust that you are, that this is real. This is real, and it can be done.
Yes. And I'm the belief girl. That's what I do. I help people with their belief systems. And I'll be honest with you, after we had like a pre-discussion to this interview, I started walking around like talking into my sticker saying, hey, it's going to be this great day, and I'm going to find this, and oh, I need an answer to this. And I just let it go out there, trusting and believing. And when I consciously did it, I mean, I don't have any big testimonials to give you right now, because I'm in the process of, shall we say, experimenting with it. I love to experiment with it, but I have a sense of that it's assisting me in my manifesting processes. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it does. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I love that. I love that so much. So that's such an interesting topic. And I think this is a great place for us to wrap up and let people just absorb this information. And of course, if you're feeling it, right? Because a lot of time people in my community, they'll hear the information, read the testimonials, see the technology, but it's really that sense of, oh yes, I'm vibing with these two, and I'm vibing with this sticker, so I need to get them. Again, remind everybody the website.
Omnia, and that's OMN for November, IA, Radiation Balancer, BALANCER.com.
Okay, excellent. And for 10% discount, our special code is my name, Esther, ESTHER. And Tim, if somebody has a question for you or wants to know more, where can they find you?
There's a contact form on my website, and that will go straight through to my support team, and they'll forward it to me. So just say, for attention of Tim, got some questions, and they'll forward that email to me.
Great. And you're also on Instagram, because I follow you on Instagram. Yep. What's your handle there?
Omnia Balance, I think. Omnia
Yes.
Balance. Yeah.
Yes. And you do fairly regular posts there, which is really nice. And what I would say to everybody, again, I'm going to put information down in the show notes for you, but also if you're shy about connecting with Tim, send your questions to me. Once I get a bunch of them, I'll call Tim and say, hey, we need to do a Q&A now with all the people's questions.
Sure.
And we'll do that. So we'll always get you the answers that you're looking for. And in the meantime, this has been great, really interesting for me as well. Even though I already knew this information, I feel like it goes deeper every time I hear about it. And just thanks for taking time. I know you have a really busy schedule to chat with us today. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, always good to come and share. And, it's lovely dealing with like-minded souls like yourself, Esther. So thank you for your interest. And I hope your viewers appreciate our chat.
Yes, I'm sure they will. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us here today. And until the next time, ciao, Bellas.